Let's go! Welcome to Game News USA. This is RJ here. Today, we're going to go over the top 10 Metroid games of all time, according to me. Thank you for being here. If you love top 10 video game lists or other things gaming related, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and with that being said, let's get started. So, right off the bat, number 10 is Metroid Other M. I liked it more than other people liked it. Let me first off by saying that a lot of people criticized the cutscenes and how the gameplay was between 2D and 3D. I thought the game is better than what people say, but there has to be a game that's 10 on a top 10 list, and that's got to be Other M. I can't justify putting it any higher than that. So, not throwing any hate or shade, I'd probably give the game a 6 or 7 out of 10, to be completely honest with you. But that just goes to show how great the Metroid series is whenever that's on the bottom of the barrel. Number 9, Metroid Prime Hunters. It was on the DS. Really, the only thing people really remember about this game, or really enjoy a lot about this game, is the multiplayer aspect. And it's stuff I would like to see in Metroid Prime 4, and stuff I want to see in Metroid Prime going forward. Because I really like the idea of turning Metroid into still having a single-player campaign, but having a multiplayer, especially that's online, that you can have fun with people. Metroid Prime 2 had a multiplayer mode, obviously offline and split screen, and it was okay. But I think you can refine that a little better and make that the future of Metroid, along with a kick-ass 20-hour single-player campaign. We'll see if Nintendo does that or not. I'm hopeful and crossing my fingers, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Number 8, even I'm surprised I had it this low on the list, Metroid Fusion. This game was really fun in the Game Boy Advance. It came out actually the same day as Metroid Prime, which you would never see again from Nintendo. 2 big releases of the same franchise on the same day. What are you doing? There might be a reason why Metroid doesn't jump off the sales charts, and that's one of them, is poor planning and release dates and marketing. And so I'm really hopeful Metroid Prime 4 sells fantastic. But Fusion's a really good game. It's a return to form with the 2D format and puzzle solving and whatnot. So, really enjoyed that. Opening cutscene sends chills through your spine. Enjoyed Metroid Fusion quite a lot, but it has to be number 8 on the list. Because number 7 on the list is Metroid Zero Mission. I think it does everything Fusion does, but better. It's actually a pretty faithful remake of the original, which didn't make the cut, because I'm going to put the better remake version in here instead. You know, the original Metroid's very hard. There's a lot of younger gamers that have a hard time playing it. I think to bridge the gap, you're better off playing Zero Mission, which is why I put this Game Boy Advance title number 7 on my list. Number 6, sort of the same deal, Metroid Samus Returns. It was on the 3DS. It's a remake of 2. 2 is a Game Boy game, so this is completely remade for the 3DS. Actually, a game that was released after the Switch came out, so I'm sure a lot of you missed it. I would like to see it ported over to the Switch or the Switch 2 at some point, so more of you can enjoy it. But this game is an absolute treasure. It's really good. It's definitely one of the better 2D Metroids in its remade form. But it's not as good as number 5. Number 5 is Metroid Dread. It's chock full of secrets, chock full of stuff to do. It was really a modern, great 2D Metroid. Some people love it even more than I do, but that's where I would put Metroid Dread, is number 5 on the list. But I think the best 2D Metroid of all time, because I do prefer the Prime more than I do 2D, but I think the best 2D Metroid of all time is number 4 on my list, which is Super Metroid. The music, the atmosphere, just how it jumped, like kind of like Zelda jumped from its original to Link to the Past. This was a great jump from its original Metroid to Super Metroid. Just way better. it really invented and really put together the Metroidvania genre. And to this day, it is a lot of people's all-time favorite game. To this day, it is a very enjoyable 2D Metroid that I would suggest anybody pick up to play. If you're going to try a 2D Metroid, this is the one to try. But I left the 3 best games for last. You could probably guess which 3. It's in the Metroid Prime series. It's just a matter of what order. First, let me tell you, the Wii had a version of all 3 Metroid Primes together in a Metroid Prime trilogy. That was freaking awesome. The first 2 Metroid Primes were on GameCube, and the third one was on the Wii. And that's the one we're going to talk about first. In third is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. I wasn't a biggest fan of the motion controls. I wasn't the biggest fan of being interactive with so many other people. It felt almost like it was going more to be a Halo game than a Metroid game in some aspects. So that's why it's not higher than the first 2. But it's still a really great game with a really great final boss fight. And, yeah, it's definitely number 3 on my list. Number 2, and this is where I struggled between the 2, because for the longest time, I thought Metroid Prime 2 was better than 1. But after sort of replaying both, and especially replaying Metroid Prime Remastered itself, at the end of the day, number 2 is Metroid Prime 2. And the reason it is the Dark and Light world's fun, but can be annoying, so it takes a ding there. It has a really great, awesome final fight. It has a multiplayer mode in there, offline, split screen. It's a phenomenal game. It really is. It's really great. Dark Samus is awesome. And we're looking like we're going to see that in Metroid Prime 4 as well. But sometimes you have to give respect to the original. Number 1 on my list, and it currently sits at a 97 on Metacritic. It currently sits at a 96 on Metacritic for the Metroid Prime Remastered Edition on the Switch. I'm talking about the original Metroid Prime. You know, it blew everybody's mind. Nintendo had this super successful Super Metroid game on the Super Nintendo in '94. And then they kind of skipped out the N64 because they wanted to make everything 3D. But when you come back to the GameCube, it's an early title for the GameCube. This game comes out and it's not in 2D. It completely reinvents everything. It brings Metroidvanias to a 3D plane, and it couldn't have been better. It was literally like Super Mario 64, but for the Metroid series. It blew my mind. It still looked so fantastic to this day, even if you're not playing the remastered version, which looks phenomenal. The atmosphere nails it perfectly. It takes everything good about Super Metroid, but sticks it into a 3D plane, and I can't get enough of it. It's just great. Ridley, the final boss, the way you progress, the way that you gather equipment, the way you're able to figure out how to open doors, the 3D puzzles they have, the ambiance of the silence that you have, the different environments. Metroid Prime OG is number 1 on my list of Metroid games. If I was on a desert island, that's the one I would play. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what is your favorite Metroid game of all time. Thank you all for watching. Peace. Have a good one. I'm out.